Ratchet and Clank walkthrough. So this is the video where let me try that again. Ratchet and Clank walkthrough. This is the video where we are finally leaving this terrible planet. We never have to come back here unless you want to get all the golden bolts, and we're going to be going to planet Rilgar. This planet has a couple of interesting things on it. First of all, we'll be heading toward the hoverboard race, and you remember that hoverboard we got on one of the first planets? Well, we'll finally be using it. Luckily not in this video because I get to rant a little bit, but in the next video the race will be on, and it's pretty fun. Now, I don't really like when games like Ratchet and Clank have a thing going on where they're their own platformer, they have their own kind of business, and that's fun. Like, you like doing that, and then they throw in a race just to kind of throw you off. Or there's a couple of other times where it doesn't really fit the game exactly, and they do it well. Like, the race is done well, and the other non-traditional parts of the game are done well, but it just doesn't fit. And it reminded me of when I was playing Sly Raccoonus, and there was some level where you had to use the hippo's stupid van to race around, and you had to win first place, and you had to do it perfectly to continue on in the game. And that made me really annoyed because I liked sneaking in that game. I didn't like racing. Anyway, so stock up on your ammo if you need to, buy a mine glove if you want to. It's pretty much at this point where I don't buy many more weapons. There is a weapon called the Devastator that I will definitely be buying, but right now I kind of lay off buying all the weapons that I used to buy immediately because some of them haven't really seemed to be too useful when it comes to the ones that I already have. I mean, like for me, the Glove of Doom, the Blaster, and the Devastator are some of the only weapons that I need, and the Decoy Glove is extremely helpful, that is true, and so is some other weapon I just forgot the name of. But anyway, I'll go over them as we get them. Now, if you want to be a completionist and collect all the weapons, then just collect as many bolts as you can. Buy the Mine Glove, which, I mean, the Mine Glove is a good glove, I just don't like it as much as the Glove of Doom. And this is also the world where we will meet the guy who sells us the Rhino, and the Rhino costs 150,000 bolts, so you'll really need to be saving up your bolts if you want that gun. Now, that gun really is more set to be a end of the game type of weapon, because if you have that many bolts, you're probably going to be wanting to spend it on some other things like continuing on in the story and also getting your health up, which I'll go over once we get there, which won't be for another couple of videos. So, while a little bit lengthy, this first part of this world isn't really too difficult. You want to make sure that you get rid of that explosive box so it doesn't blow up on you, and then you just kind of need to sprint and jump over to it, and then sprint and jump over here. You're going to be running into a lot of these exterminator type enemies, and for some reason they confuse a fuzzball with a with these little globs of infected goo. And these little globs of infected goo, which remind me of Ghostbusters, when you hit them, either with a gun or with your wrench, they will split into 2 more globs of goo, and once you hit those, they will also split into 2 more globs of goo. When they hit you, as always, they just do 1 damage to you, but then you end up multiplying the amount of enemies on the screen. And for these guys, sometimes it's a little bit easier just to walk up and hit them with your wrench, but they like to hit you immediately, so it is pretty easy to take damage. And as you notice, I have 1 health left because I got pretty well hit by those exterminators. So I'm playing this really cautiously, and the best way to play cautiously is just to go into first person with your blaster and pick them down one by one. And I'm also blowing up all the boxes, picking up all the bolts, and there's a few more enemies here. So when you step on this button, this bridge is going to show up, and these enemies, I don't think they come across the bridge, but anyway, here you can either taunt them into your direction if you want to, or you can try to blow them up with that explosive box over there. I wasn't able to hit it from this position, and I'm a little bit paranoid of getting too close to them, and I think I shoot it right there. So that takes out one of the guys, that's pretty nice. But anyway, I'm kind of paranoid of getting too close because I still have pretty low health. I don't think I have 1 health anymore, I think I've got 2, but These guys like to hit you quick, and it's just best if you stay back, take them out one by one, and then deal with them later. So there's so many bolts laying down there. That's kind of the cool thing about taking care of all the enemies from afar. You get to see how many bolts they drop, and it's kind of a lot. I mean, it's probably only 1 to 200, but it still looks cool. So anyway, come over here, step into the elevator, and you're gonna run into more globs of globby goo. Now, when we finally get to this race, we won't have to go through any of this again, thankfully. But when we get to the Rhino, we'll have to go through some of it if you want to come back and buy the Rhino later. Now, the checkpoints are pretty good in this game. They, well, okay, not really checkpoints. I mean, when I say checkpoint, I mean when you die, you respawn there. But what I'm talking about is when you get to the end of a place, then there's a platform that takes you to and from your ship, and those aren't the most creative ways to take you back to where you came from, but there are some other levels that have some pretty cool ways of taking you back, and it makes me laugh when people always praise games like Dark Souls for... Did I go over this in an earlier video? I don't even know, but I'll say it again. I mean, it makes me laugh when people praise Dark Souls for having such well tied-in worlds, and games from 2001 have already had that, so, you know. Anyway, so this platform will take you back to your ship, and that basically means that it's a checkpoint. So if you need to go back and buy stuff, or if you need to go back and... Oh wait, no, whoops, I lied. Sorry, this doesn't take you to the ship, this takes you to downtown. And I actually died and had to do all that over again, so that's why that cut was there. Anyway, so just take this to downtown, and you'll have to take out some of these enemies. If you... the first time you come here, there'll be a couple of globs that they'll be taking care of. You see all those bolts there. I don't know why they already took care of them, because I just got here, so I guess it stayed from the last time I died. I don't know, but anyway, you can let the exterminators fight the other enemies for a couple of minutes, and then you should be able to come down, take them out one by one from afar, and you'll notice there's another tank over in the background. Those tanks are kind of annoying. I mean, they're not the worst thing ever, but they are kind of annoying. Now, I am still not entirely sure if a Gadgetron shop means checkpoint, because I came here, died to that guy I just shot, and had to redo it from the beginning, so I don't know if I just didn't get far enough or what, but anyway, just try not to die and you'll do fine in this game. Now, these tanks luckily aren't too bad, because they can only shoot their mist from a certain range, and they can't really go after you, but when you're ready, come up and talk to this guy.
Trade you. Well, okay. Ratchet. I'm kidding. Sorry, he's not for sale. What's a Rhino anyway?
Rip ya a new one.
What did you just say to me?
R-Y-N-O. Rip ya a new one.
Why, that's the most powerful missile launcher in the galaxy. I know it's worth a lot of bolts. He must have stolen it from the blarg.
Stolen? Look, trash can. Did I say anything about it being hot? You better watch your mouth, or I'll...
Wait, don't tell me. Rip you a new one.
And as you see, 150,000 bolts for the Rhino. So that is not happening right now. And as I said, I'll have a video eventually on the better way to get bolts quickly, so don't worry about it for now though, but I'm sure that weapon's a lot of fun, and I think there's actually one that I like a little bit more than the Rhino. So as you saw, this game does like to troll you a little bit when it comes to those explosive boxes, because they put an explosive box right in the middle of a bunch of other regular boxes, but I guess they knew what they were doing, because there was a health orb right on top of it, and it kind of nullified it. So anyway, if you want to take a look around some of the other places in this area, you can come up here onto this steam vent. There's not really anything particularly fancy here, just a couple of boxes and I guess a pretty nice view of downtown. So when you're done hanging around there, you can get onto this vent and you can kind of look at this platform that'll be up on here. Again, more boxes. And when you're finally ready, you'll want to get heading on over to this elevator. So you just want to push the button and then be careful. There's only 2 of these guys here, but they do take 2 hits to die. So if you knock one guy far enough back, he may hit you while you're dealing with the other guy. But anyway, just take the elevator on up, and I'm pretty sure from this point on you get a checkpoint, so if you die, it's not really too big of a deal. But I don't think I die for the rest of the level, so that was pretty nice. Now, down here in the bottom, you don't actually have to deal with these guys if you don't absolutely want to, but it will make things a heck of a lot easier, so I will be dealing with them. Now, the way I am dealing with them may be a little bit, well, slow, because as you notice, it gives you a ton of Glove of Doom ammo, so I'm going to be throwing that down in there, but I think I end up picking them off one by one with a blaster, and I can't actually remember. I should probably look over these videos more before I start narrating them, but so much happens in one level, it's hard to keep track of it all. So anyway, just throw down your Glove of Doom, let the guys go around and take them out before you throw in another one, and for some reason, some of these Glove of Doom things have a hard time figuring out what they're doing. I mean, there's one in the bottom right there that's just kind of wandering around like an idiot, so I guess it's just not close enough. And then there's a bunch over there just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, the guy's right there. Now, the reason the camera's moving up and down is because I'm trying to get a good view in the pit, and by default, the camera wants to kind of go back behind Ratchet, and it won't really let me see what's going on down there, so I have to move it up. But as I move it up, as soon as I let go of the analog stick, it wants to move back down again, so I have to kind of bounce it back and forth to keep it where I want it to be. And that's really obnoxious on the video, but it was the only way the game's camera allowed me to actually see what was going on. And that's probably one of the biggest complaints I have in this game, is just the camera is pretty bad, but I guess it could be worse. I mean, well, I don't know. When games like this that are newer than Super Mario 64 have a worse camera than Super Mario 64, it kind of bugs me. I mean, you'd think, yeah, it doesn't matter. No, changes can't be made. The game's too old for that, but the camera's still annoying. Now, for these guys, Glove of Doom is probably one of the better options too, but I think I just spend most of my time whacking them with my wrench, and luckily I managed to take them all out without taking a whole lot of damage, and that is a total lie. I lost almost everything in that war. But there are quite a few health orbs, and that is good if you wanted to do it my way. So pick up that health orb down here in the pit, climb back up this climbing point if you want to get this other health orb, and I think I took a look around and didn't see any other health orbs, so I just decided to continue on, and the correct way is down in this corridor. So step on the button, go up, or is it down? Go up, yet another elevator. We're getting pretty close to the end of this video, so that is good, and you'll notice here there's a ton of cages and a ton of guys. Now, luckily and there's also a golden bolt over there. So anyway, luckily when you step on a button, only one cage gets open, so that means you only have to deal with the rooms one at a time. And most of them you can't even deal with yet. I'll show you what I mean later. So you notice how there's a bunch of 3 guys over there. Well, just plan on how you're going to deal with them and then step on the button. Apparently I am pausing the menu because I wanted to go to my quick select. Now, this is where the taunter, because this is where you need to change your items if you notice that you can't really access any. But anyway, this is where I thought the taunter might become helpful, because I thought, okay, maybe those cage bar lasers can hurt these guys, but I taunted them and they did nothing, so I'm like, okay, I'll just deal with them normally. And I think I tried it again here. Taunt, nothing, nothing, nothing. So I don't know, the taunter has a few specific uses, but other than that, it's really not a very useful weapon. Yep. It was just amusing me at that point that it's supposed to do something and it wasn't doing anything. So anyway, this room has nothing in it, but there is a box and also an explosive box, so be sure not to get hit by the explosive box and pick up the health if you need it, which I did. And then when you step on this one, these little globs of goo will start to come after you, and for these I think I just took them out with my wrench. They're not really too difficult, but they can kind of blindside you if you're not paying attention. This is best if you just kind of hit them, let them split up, and then try to take out as many as you can with one swing of your wrench. That way you don't have to worry about being circled by a bunch of them. But sometimes you still get hit by one even though you kind of think it was unfair and you didn't deserve to get bit by that thing from Ghostbusters. So anyway, just keep pushing the buttons, and eventually you're going to be coming outside here pretty soon, and you'll notice you're actually missing the chance to take out some of those other enemies, and we'll be coming back to do that later, but for now we're just gonna, I don't think I do that in this video. I think for now we just go on to the steam vent and go and meet the hoverboard, because that way we get access to and from our ship from the hoverboard location, and we don't have to worry about dying and having to do this all over again. But there's one final obstacle. That would be a tank, which luckily just kind of shoots gas at you, so it's kind of hard for him to shoot you, but I still would recommend using the Glove of Doom if you have ammo. If you don't have ammo, use whatever other weapon makes you happy, and there's going to be another tank in there, so the one Glove of Doom won't be enough. You'll need... Okay, maybe it was enough. Alright, one Glove of Doom is all you need with a correctly placed one. And I'll go over how to get that golden bolt in another video here. So anyway, they do give you a ton of health here, and that is pretty useful because this seems to be one of the few levels where they just bombard you with health. And once you walk up this elevator, you will be at the end of this section of this world, and that'll be it for my narration in this video.
Welcome to the HoverCon Intergalactic Hoverboard Competition. Captain Quark's giving away a brand new Platinum Zoomerator to the winner of this competition.
A Platinum Zoomerator? Perhaps that will be the proof of your accomplishments that Skid's agent requires.
Wait, do you guys mean Skid McMarks?
Yeah, Skid couldn't make it, so we're here to, you know, fill in for him.
Guess we'll see about that.